You guys gotta hear me real quick again. So I specifically requested to introduce our next speaker. He's someone I admire and I respect. A candidate that continues to push conversations on issues, even when they're not so politically, even when they don't poll so well, or people aren't talking about them because their consultants won't let them. He's not afraid to counterpunch and to call people out, and I respect the hell out of that. He speaks boldly about solutions and specifically about issues that affect people of color, the poor, and other vulnerable members of our society. And for that, I think with that dialogue, all of us are better off. So, California progressives, I am here to introduce candidate for President of the United States, Secretary Julian Castro.
Progressive Caucus. Thank you all very much for the introduction. It's always good to be here with the lifeblood of the party. Thank you so much for having me here this afternoon for the Candidates Forum. I hope you all enjoyed it. Although, for a moment I felt sorry for folks because y'all were having to sit through hours and hours of candidates, but then I thought, what do you mean? These are the folks that love this stuff. I know that you maintain the energy out there. Let me also say thank you to each and every one of y'all, because California has become a shining example of Democratic success in this country. And that's not by accident. A few days ago, we marked the 25th anniversary of the unfortunate passage of Proposition 187 on November 8, 1994. When Prop 187 passed, like many of you, I was here in California. I was a student along with my brother Joaquin at Stanford University, and I remember those TV ads with the grainy footage that said, "They keep coming," that smeared people who looked different, who were seeking a better life. I remember a time in California when voices like those of Governor Wilson were more the norm, when the state was caught up in a hysteria that Donald Trump would be proud of. To look at California today, in the year 2019, and to think about how much progress y'all have made since that time, that is no accident. That's because so many people in this room knocked on doors, made the phone calls, gave $20, $100, whatever they could give, organized, supported candidates, ran for office yourselves, some of you, kept pushing and pushing and pushing with progressive ideals so that this state of California today is one of the most democratic states in all of our union. You have so much to be proud of. Felicidades, congratulations on all of that success. And we're also counting on California to help lead us out of this mess that Donald Trump and the Republicans are creating today in Washington, D.C. I'm here today because I have a very different vision of our country from this president. I'm here today because I want an America where everyone counts. And I hope that you all have noticed, whether you support my candidacy or not, that during this campaign we've done things a little bit differently from just about every other campaign. I've gone and visited with folks who are living in a storm drainage tunnel underneath the Las Vegas Strip, homeless, sleeping there at night, under the lights of casinos that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I've gone and visited with folks in a DC jail, people who are incarcerated, to hear directly from them how we can make sure that we do right and reimagine our criminal justice system so that people have a first chance in life in the first place and don't end up behind bars so that they need a second chance. I have visited with migrants who are caught up in Donald Trump's cruel Remain in Mexico policy, who spoke of family members being kidnapped and extorted, who spoke of being hungry, of not having enough to eat, and their children not having a place to bathe or to sleep at night. During this campaign, I have spoken up for an America that recognizes not only the middle class that for the last 40 years we've talked about and worked for as Democrats, and which we have to continue to do. We want more Americans to be able to get into the middle class and to stay there. I haven't forgotten about talking about the poor, because somewhere along the way we forgot to champion the poor as Democrats, and if we don't do that, who's going to do it? I've talked about a tax code that rewards people who have to work for a living, and not only the wealthy and the big corporations. And in this campaign, I haven't accepted a dime of money from PACs, from federal lobbyists, from big oil and gas executives. The average contribution to my campaign has been $20. Now, I'm nowhere near the top in terms of the amount of money raised, but I'm within the top 2 in terms of the highest percentage of small dollar donors, and I'm proud of that, because that reflects everyday people giving to this campaign. I came here tonight to say to you, thank you, and also to ask for your support. I know that in some quarters they're writing my political obituary, right? I read an article yesterday that was titled "The Tragedy and the Triumph of Julian Castro." And I said, wait a minute, I'm still in this race. I don't believe that people should be able to buy their way on the debate stage. I believe that we should work for that we should put out a vision for the future of our country that we can believe in, and I've done that. And I'm going to keep going out there and articulating a strong, bold, positive, and progressive vision for America, one that represents something that is totally different from Donald Trump, and speaking up even on issues that a lot of people don't want to talk about. I was the first to release an immigration plan. I didn't sidestep the question or backpedal on it or cower in the face of Trump's xenophobia and nationalism. I've talked about the fact that we need to reform policing in the United States, so no matter who you are, you're treated the same by law enforcement. I've spoken about the need to invest in ending homelessness and creating housing opportunity, and begged CNN and the New York Times and these other outlets to ask a debate question on that, because people need it. We have a rental affordability crisis in California and throughout our country. It needs to be addressed. And I hope that no matter what happens in this race, that together we're able to create the kind of country where more stories like mine, and I'm sure like your families as well, is possible. I grew up with a grandmother named Julian Castro that got here to the United States when she was 7 years old with her little sister because their parents had died in Mexico. And she was yanked out of school in elementary, so she worked as a maid, a cook, and a babysitter for her whole life. She raised my mom as a single parent, and my mom raised my twin brother Joaquin and me as a single parent. We're proud products of the public schools of San Antonio. And just to think that 2 generations after my grandmother got to this country, with almost nothing, like I bet a lot of your family members did at one time, that one of her grandsons, she only had 2, only 2 grandchildren, only my brother and me. One of her grandsons is now the congressman for that congressional district, that place that she came to. And the other one is here in California asking for your support to be president of the United States of America. That is an immigrant American dream story, and it's the kind of country that we can continue to build. But first, we have work to do. I want to challenge you to keep making those phone calls and keep sending those emails, and keep getting defriended on Facebook because you're so political. You're locked on Twitter. Keep knocking on those doors and licking those envelopes and spreading the word. And I'm confident that come November of 2020, we can defeat Donald Trump and defeat Mitch McConnell and have a Democratic president, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic House. And on January 20th, 2021, stand on the White House lawn and wave adios to Donald Trump. And let's create a better America for each and every one of our families and all states of our union and every person in this country. Thank you very much.
Siblings and friends, candidate for President of the United States of America, Julian Castro. Next up, we're ready to adjourn, but we're going to do things a little bit different.